Hello and welcome to Andertons TV. My name is Jack Duxbury and he's the Maltese Falcon. Woo. And we're in Stockholm. Oh my God! And we're outside the workshop of Nord keyboards and they've got something brand new that I have no idea what it is, but let's go check it out. If I knock, please. It would be a handsome suite. How's it going, mate?
Very good.
Stefan.
Yeah.
Hey.
Welcome to Nord.
Thank you so much. I genuinely have no idea what you're packing upstairs. Mm-hmm. So let's go. Let's do it.
Let's see what's up. Getting cold?
I'm so cold. I'm so cold. I'm so tired, but it's worth it because I love Nord keyboards. Okay, so we're just getting a quick workout before.
Quick push-ups.
Yeah.
Let's see if someone's in here.
Oh, come on. Falcon's got his ideas what it is.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Magical doors.
Hey, man, thank you, bro. Generally magical. Whoa. I mean, I've been here before, but this looks like you've tied it up.
Yeah. It's time to
Okay. How's it going? Hey, mate. Stefan, is this, I'm guessing it's underneath this sheath.
Yeah. The thing is, we've got some new sounds that they thought you would be interested in trying out.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, no way do I get to unpeel the beast. Okay. Oh. What I love is I went from the left to the right. Oh, shit. Hang on, I kind of want to know about it. Can we do a fist pump and then find out a bit more about it? Is that all right? Let's do it. 3, 4. Hello and welcome to Andertons TV. My name is Jack Duxbury. He's the Maltese Falcon. This is...
I'm Staffan Lindroth, product specialist here at Nord.
And in the corner, we've got David and we've got Ian. We're here in Stockholm, Sweden. Oh my God! For the launch of the new Nord Stage 4. In this video, I want to get across, and you want to get across, the top 10 new features, right?
Yeah, that's what we will do.
So let's fist pump and do feature number 1.
All right, feature number 1 would be the new panel layout with the LED faders.
Right, let's show this off. Falcon will show some sweeps, or he might even swoop in manually. Let's do it.
So what we thought we'd do with the Nord Stage 4 is to sort of get away from the 2-panel setup that we had for the previous stage instruments with a slot A and B or the panel A and B, and instead present everything that you have on one panel. So it's instantly visible and accessible through the LED faders. You can set up your sound, the mix of your different sound sources the way you want it in real time.
And this, I heard you fiddling with this in the intro. You can demonstrate a bit. I mean, this wasn't possible without the faders, right? So this is called NS4
No, you didn't
palette.
have this sort of hands-on control that you have now. So here is a patch with a bunch of different sounds, and then the idea is that you can sort of blend, find the mixtures of sounds that you want. So yeah, you're gonna hear a lot of different sounds here. So we got some organ, some piano, electric piano, and a few different synth patches. You can take out the organ, just keep the strings and an electric piano maybe.
Yeah,
You can
nice.
instead bring in the grand and the pad. Bit of bell. Yeah, so that's kind of way of working that you couldn't really do before and that we're really happy about. So that would be feature number 1.
Nice one. Feature 2, Stefan, what we got?
Feature number 2 would be the complete and independent effects chain for each layer on the panel. Yeah, it opens up some possibilities, right?
Huge change.
Yeah, and it's quite obvious once you start combining patches or combining layers rather, that it means that you don't have to worry about using a certain effect for a certain layer and it's not going to be available for the other one, because each one has its own set of effect that is independent from all others. So as an example, listening to the same patch here, we could listen to the two piano sounds using the solo button. We now hear the grand piano, a fairly natural grand piano sound. The electric piano, which uses both an amp model and some chorus. And it's completely separate and independent from the grand piano sound that we heard. So that will also be a nice premise to the feature number 3, which sort of relies on this.
Okay, let's go to feature number 3.
Feature number 3 is the new preset library function that we added to the central section of the stage 4. So this is where you find presets for either entire sections, the synth section, the piano section, and the organ, or for individual layers within each of these sections. And as you can imagine, having independent effects for each layer means that these presets also include effects, and means that you can store your favorite electric piano sound with your favorite amp model and other effects, and you can just recall it from whatever program you happen to have loaded. So
super powerful from what I've seen, and it kind of makes sense that you've made this central above the screen. I think lots of people, if you're familiar with Nord, even if you're not familiar in the shop, to demo it out, it's going to make it easier to try out different sounds.
Exactly, because if you have, let's say you have a upright sound, this new felt upright that a lot of you guys out there probably have tried already. Let's say we have this and we want to add maybe just a pad sound. We go to the synth library and we find one of the pad sounds, a soft pad. And we can even move on and go to different layer and find a different sound, a different pad sound, let's say.
And you can see with that one, it's brought in its own reverb as well with it.
Exactly. It brought in its own reverb, and you can bring in different presets for each layer, and you can mix them together.
It's super powerful.
And you can even add a second piano sound using a preset, find an electric piano sound to blend with, and it's going to be really quick to store and reuse your favorite sounds that you find yourself using across programs. And there is, of course, going to be a huge factory library of sounds as well in here. So if you quickly need a lead sound to split with something else, just turn on the split, go into the preset library, find the lead sound, and you have a setup with a...
Freaking love it.
Here we go.
Next feature, baby. Right. Feature 4, baby.
All right, feature number 4 would be the fact that we now have 3 synth layers, each based on the Nord Wave 2 synthesizer.
Super powerful.
Yeah. So, of course, there's the display in the synth section, which helps you out with waveform selection, oscillator configurations, and of course, the display is now also used for a variety of different tasks, like setting up envelopes, etc. And
well, let's see. Can we see some of them?
Yeah.
So let's. I can see we've got an FM formula there.
Yeah. So let's just turn on a basic sound here.
Yep.
We want to change the envelope for the filter. We go to the screen. Amp envelope.
I love the implementation.
So here you can...
So much more information. I thought I was happy with the stage 3, but this is a new world of information on there. And then one of my favourite features, I did a real long-form video on the Wave 4 from that, was the Polyphonic Arpeggiator.
The Wave 2 you mean?
Sorry, sorry, man. Yeah, cool, yeah. Can we see that? Can we hear a demo of that?
Yeah, the Polyphonic Arpeggiator. So first off is an example that uses the polyarp. So the polyarp here is actually, let's use the solo button again. So here it's used together with the delay effect to do these inversions of the chord that you're playing. Of course, we could do do this without the delay effect perhaps and set a quicker subdivision, and we'll hear.
Great. Yeah.
Of course, it's very, you can set it to be a chord repeater. So now you got the same chord repeating, increasing range, and you get these inversions.
Killer.
Yeah. So there we go. There's also the gate. So here we got 2 gates going. Using the new pattern functionality. So whether you're using the arpeggiator, the gate, or the polyarp, you can also design your own pattern to go with it. So it's quite endless in the possibilities of combining pattern, combining the different arpeggiator modes. So you can get these. Well, you heard it. You can get this really intense sort of beat-based patches as well if you want to. So.
Fab. On to even more features. Let's go, baby. Feature 5. Quick one, but an important one for people that care about the feel of the keyboard, right?
Yeah. Feature number 5 is that we now have the triple sensor keybed for all our models, all 3 models, which is the 88 key, the 73 key with weighted keys, which is the same keybed as the 88 key one, and the compact, which uses a waterfall keybed that you're used to. Also with triple sensors.
Interesting. And can we demo that?
Yeah, the triple sensor, of course, affects mostly your piano playing. So what it does is, apart from the 2 regular sensors that you would have to detect velocity when you're playing, you add a third one, which both increases the resolution of the detected velocity and gives you more detail about your strokes, but it also enables strokes where you don't lift up the key entirely. So it's quite easy to demonstrate by keeping a key pressed down and being able to do repeats like this. Not that you'd necessarily sit and play like this that often, but it will help you out with your legato playing, and it's going to mean that you can do quicker repetitions from further down the keys. And of course, we've had this on the piano series and the grand, but it's a first for the stage series.
Oh, yeah, love it, baby. Over halfway, feature 6. Hit me.
Yeah, feature 6. This is a cool one too, much requested one. We now have the physical drawbars for all our models. Yeah.
Result.
Happy guy.
Game changing. Love it. Can you explain the significance of that?
Yeah, well, if you're an organ player, you're really used to having these physical drawbars, and a lot of the Nord users are relying on the physical drawbars. And you previously had to sort of make the choice between the weighted keys and the 88 keys, or to get the physical drawbars with a compact and waterfall action. So now it's the best of both worlds for
across the whole range,
across
unified.
the whole range.
Also, when you were playing with it, there's a new button that relates to that, right? In live draw.
Yeah. Well, whenever you store a program, it's going to load up the way you stored it with that sound. And apart from the physical drawbars, you also have the LED strips to show you the stored value when you load a program. And in normal playing mode, you can do your drawbar operations and see the LED strips go along with your drawbar moves. But if you'd rather, you can set it to, you can go out of this preset mode and you're in a live mode which also includes the percussion and chorus settings. But when you're in this mode, you only have to worry about the actual physical drawbars, and it's going to use the positions of those. So certain players, that's going to be a really nice addition, of course, to...
An absolute dream for me as a stage 3 user. Having it on the 88 is just mind-blowing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lucky number feature 7. Way back when in our feature list, you said about the different chains of effects, but there are actually new types of effects.
Exactly. We've expanded upon the effects selection that you have, and for each effect now, there is also a variation that you can select So whether it's one of the modulation effects or an amp model, or if you're using the reverb, there's going to be a variation that either gives you a different flavor of that effect or gives you a different effect. So it really massively expands the kinds of sounds that are in here, of course.
Awesome. Can we hear some on something like an electric piano?
Yeah. So there are some basic examples of this. So this would be the normal auto pan feature, where you get this smooth modulation. But then we now also have the harder pan with the harder waveform. Which is a more classic electric piano vibrato or auto pan effect anyway. So
you got to have your headphones on for that one, but there's a whole new effect even in that little block.
Exactly.
It's called the pump. And when I tried that out, the variation is very significant in that one.
Yeah, it is. And I have a pretty good example of it here. So the new pump effect, I think you were able to sort of figure out what it was when you saw it, but it's actually an emulation of a compressor sidechain effect, which is a very common type of sound nowadays, of course. You use a compressor and something to trigger that. But here we use the modulation section to recreate that. So here's what it sounds like with a combination of a piano and a synth sound.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So that's following the internal master clock and tempo.
Exactly.
And then when you hit variation, so you get a whole new way of controlling it, right?
Exactly. It's either syncable to the master clock, and you can set your subdivision to quarter notes or whatever and have it sync to an incoming clock if you'd like. But then there's also a manual pedal-based mode where if you press the variation, you can use one of the pedals that you have connected. In this case, I'm using the left pedal of the triple pedal to control the pump effect. So here we have just a synth sound. Now
those big size 11s, baby.
Yeah. And of course, depending on the tempo, I might need to adjust the depth and the ramp shape for this. So I can make it deeper.
Super powerful. Keep saying super powerful.
Yeah. So whether you're using it sync to the master clock or with the pedal, there's going to be a way to sort of keep you in sync with the rest of the band that when you're asked to supply this sort of
100%.
sound.
And whilst we're here, we said we were going in depth in this one. In the next block, from memory, I asked you when you unveiled it to me, spin. We've got a new effect called spin, which gets the sound moving. Right? Can we hear that on the same sound?
Let's go back to an electric piano sound for that one, maybe. As you can hear from the name, it recreates a spinning motion. And it's similar to the rotary speaker in that it sort of simulates a rotating speaker element, but it's less complex and doesn't have the same sort of imprint that the rotary speaker will have on the sound. So
again, put your freaking headphones on for this.
And when you decrease the speed, it's going to ramp down, and when you increase it, it's going to ramp up.
Nice.
Of course, you can set how deep it's going to be.
So a whole new effect for people out there. And then in Reverb Town, we've got whole new algorithms, right?
Yeah.
What have we got?
Yeah, so this also builds on the Wave 2 and the Piano 5, which we also included new reverb types, but we got the really large reverbs now with the cathedral mode, which is pretty massive, of course with a variation, which is this chorale mode. There is a spring reverb that's going to be excellent for your organ sounds and electric piano sounds and anything else, of course. There's a variety of different other sizes in between, each with a variation.
Let's just give you a quick blast of that. So can we start with the spring and just hear that on something? And I love that. I got to speak to Magnus, and I love that you just created your own spring reverb here. So let's have a listen to it on,
Okay, so I'm using the same electric piano sound, but now with a twin amp and some spring reverb. There are variations here to alter the size or the sound. There's a bright and a dark mode, so you can get a darker spring.
Nice. Yeah. And then maybe the same sound. Loved it when I tried it on the other keyboards. The big reverb, big.
Okay,
cavernous.
So on to the cavern in form of the cathedral. So same sound with the cathedral. Variation. And it goes to fully wet now.
Just unbelievable. New effects, changed new effects. Nice one, mate. Number 8.
All right, number 8 in the top features list would be the fact that we now have a layer scene functionality that we call layer scene 2 on the panel. We already talked about the fact that we now have all the layers visible on the panel and that we don't use the panel A and B setup that we had for the stage 3. What we instead have done is that we added the layer scene functionality, which lets you switch between different configurations of layers on the panel. So it lets you add a sound to what you're playing already or switch to entirely different sounds from another section if you wanted to. So maybe an example.
Yes, hit me with it. I understand this came from listening to people that were using the A and B panel feature in the last models.
Exactly, because there are some scenarios where it's kind of nice to be within the same program, be able to switch between two different configurations, two different sounds, whether it's adding a string sound to a piano or just entirely switching between a piano and an organ or something like that without having to leave the program that you're already in. So it's a way to accommodate that sort of setup.
I used that a lot, so let's check it out.
Yeah, okay, so this builds on this sidechain pump example that I had, but with the layer scene we're gonna add a different layer. So again, switching. Going back.
Bringing in exactly what you said it was doing, which leads on to, I mean, you were using your hands there, but that leads on to feature number 9.
Yeah, exactly.
If you don't want to use your hands, we've got whole new ways to use your feet with the stage shift.
Yeah, exactly. As always, there's a triple pedal option for the stage users, and there's even a new triple pedal that we're coming out with, a new design, and there's a new sustain pedal which will allow you to use the half pedal and pedal noise features of the piano section with just a single sustain pedal, which is
That's a big deal to Nord nerds like me.
Yeah,
You've
to
even
the
got
touring musician.
You've even got a special triple pedal input. So let's show off some of the things that you've done. As I understand, you can repurpose what the other pedals do.
Exactly. So you can use the left and middle pedals of the triple pedals, which are normally the unicorda and sostenuto features that are typical piano features. But if you're not a big user of those, you can set the left pedal to, for instance, control the pump effect, which is something we already showed, or you can use one of those pedals to switch between these two layer scenes that we talked about, and you can use the left and middle to go up and down with go program up and program down as well. So if you got this triple pedal, you're going to be able to use it for much more things than you could earlier. So.
Killer. And anything new with the swell functionality?
Yes, there is one new thing with a swell pedal input is that if you have two expression pedals and you have one set up as a control pedal morph source and perhaps also for controlling the swell of the organ, you can use a swell input jack for another expression pedal and it will mirror the wheel morph if you wanted to. So if you don't have the ability to let go of the keyboard and use your hands for the wheel, you can have two pedals and control two different continuous morphs with the two different pedals. Because if you're an advanced user, you're gonna rely a lot on the morph functionality and switch between different, either introducing effects or doing whatever else that you're doing with the morph.
Yeah, I love it, mate. Great additions. On to the final feature, number 10.
Number 10, so the final entry to our list would be the additions to the piano section, where we now have a feature called dynamic compression and a new Unison feature.
Right. Don't know what they are. Show me.
I will show you. So the dynamic compression feature is really useful for evening out your performance. So if you're playing very expressively and dynamically, what can happen is that your soft playing can get a little bit lost in the mix, perhaps, and you'll use the dynamic compression to bring up the level of your software playing, so you get a more even sound level.
So instead of using the compressor at the end, it's almost changing the velocity?
Yeah, it's going to use the same exact samples from the piano section, but it's just going to alter the sound level of them to make it more even. So it's not going to have the...
So if you're a bit nervous, it'll even you out.
Yeah, the compressor always, well, it introduces the effect of the compressor as well with an envelope behavior, etc. This is going to be much more transparent, and it can be more or less obvious. I'll do some quick examples. So with the lower setting, you're not going to hear that much of a difference. This is without. Turning it on to 2 and 3. So if you hear now that if I'm playing, going from soft to strong, you hear that you still have all the dynamic range in terms of the timbre of the sound, but you're evening out the sound level, and it's going to make it easier for the front of house guy.
Oh yeah, love that. And then also Unison feature. I remember in the piano section on my stage 3, there was a piano detune feature. This looked like when you were playing it before an expansion upon that.
Yeah, it's an expansion or a retake on that, because the layer detune feature that was around earlier relied on having 2 layers that you detuned from each other. This uses one layer and uses one piano sound to create a richer piano sound with stereo enhancements and some detuning to create a more vibrant sound.
It's subtle. Can we hear it?
Yeah, so using the same upright, without first LED.
Tasty.
And going on.
Yeah, man.
Final one. So with the last one, you're getting a bit more of an obvious detune effect, which can be suitable, of course, at times. But you have the whole range from just a subtle widening and added vibrancy to the sound to more obviously detuned sound.
Exactly that, subtle, all these things. Thanks so much for showing me through all these features, Staffan.
No worries.
Thanks for having me here, guys. Just want to do some boring housekeeping. If you're not a subscriber, please consider it. Because we're giving away things when we get to different landmarks.
I'll think about it.
Yeah, I'll think. Cool. Well, we'll give you free keyboards if you do. All you got to be is a subscriber to do it. And watch out for more videos. This is the first one. Thanks so much. And we're going to have my mates come in and play it when we finally get these in the stores in England. But other than that, can I ask you to play us out?
Yeah, I'll play a little bit.
Thank you so much again. Thanks, mate.
No worries.
Yes.